Hello students, welcome back. Today we are going to discuss objective part 3 from sexual reproduction in angiosperms. Page number 43, exercise level 2. Question number 1. Which of the following plants is pollinated by animals? Options: 1. Amorphophallus, 2. Yucca, 3. Fig, 4. All of the above. So first one, Amorphophallus, Yucca, Fig. All these plants are pollinated by animals. Then answer is option 4. Question number 2. In the process of emasculation, which part of the flower must be removed? For this question, the flower diagram is given. So it is labeled with the 4 different letters A, B, C, D. So among these parts, which part is removed during emasculation? For this, first we need to know what is meant by emasculation. Emasculation defined as removal of stamens to prevent self-pollination in bisexual flowers. Now let's know what are these parts given here. A is petals, B is stigma, C is stamen, D is a ovary. So now as per definition, removal of stamens during emasculation to prevent self-pollination. Then stamen is the answer. Hence the answer is option 2. Question number 3. The embryos never pass through the adult stage of other animals. This proposal was given after careful study performed by options: 1. Ernest Haeckel, 2. Carl Ernst von Baer, 3. Carl von Fritsch, 4. Both options 1 and 2. So let's know the information about a given scientists in the options. Ernest Haeckel, the best known for the famous statement, ontogeny recapitulates phylogeny. He also coined many words commonly used by biologists today, such as phylum, phylogeny, and ecology. He was well known for his popularized version of the recapitulation theory during embryonic development of animals. The biogenetic law is a theory of development and evolution proposed by Ernest Haeckel. Carl Ernst von Baer was the first to describe the mammalian ovum. He also developed the germ layer theory, which became the basis for modern embryology. After careful study, he proposed the embryos never pass through the adult stages of other animals. Carl von Fritsch was awarded the Nobel Prize for his research on the honeybee waggle dance. So as for this information, the answer is option 2. Carl Ernst von Baer, he proposed The embryos never pass through the adult stage of other animals. So this statement is given by Carl Ernst von Baer. Question number 4. What is the common feature in between endosperm and perisperm? Options: 1. Being a diploid tissue. 2. Being a triploid tissue. 3. Having reserve food material. 4. Being the product of triple fusion. So let's see the information about endosperm and perisperm. Endosperm provides nutrition to the developing embryo due to having reserve food, and it is usually triploid, and it is the product of triple fusion. Perisperm is remnants of nucellus, which is diploid and have reserve food material. So the question is common feature between endosperm and perisperm. So endosperm is in triploid condition and perisperm is diploid. It is not a common feature. Endosperm is due to triple fusion, fusion of male gamete and secondary nucleus, that is two nuclei are fused to form secondary nucleus, two nuclei plus male gamete, third nuclei, three nuclei are fused, that's why it is triple fusion. It is also not a common to this perisperm. So the common feature between endosperm and perisperm is having reserve food material. Then the answer is option 3, having reserve food material. Question number 5. Pollinia are found in the flowers of. Question number 6. Which is correct? Options 1. Gametes are invariably haploid. Option 2. Spores are invariably haploid. Option 3. Gametes are generally haploid. Option 4. Both spores and gametes are invariably haploid. So let's know the meaning of invariably. Always. Invariably means always. So now let's know about gametes and these spores given in the options. So gametes are invariably haploid cells as they are produced by meiosis. So gametes are always haploid because they are produced by the meiosis division. Spores are usually haploid and unicellular and are produced by meiosis in the sporangium of a diploid sporophyte. Under favorable conditions, the spore can develop into a new organism using mitotic division, producing a multicellular gametophyte, which eventually goes on to produce gametes. So these gametes and spores, we will get more information in first PUC, plant kingdom, life cycles, that is haplontic, haplodiplontic and diplontic life cycles. We can know about the spores more. sporophyte, gametophyte words is frequently we can use in that plant kingdom. So now let's see these two statements. If you are observed again, gametes are always haploid and spores are also always haploid irrespective of division. In this spore formation, sometimes if it is a haplontic life cycle, spore formation requires mitotic division because the plant body is haploid. It is diplontic life cycle, the formation is through meiosis. So that's why spores are also haploid and gametes are also haploid. So then the answer is option 4. Both spores and gametes are invariably haploid. Question number 7. End products of sexual reproduction are options 1. Fruits and seeds. 2. Fruits only. 3. Seeds only. 4. Flowers only. So let's know the end products of sexual reproduction. So in flowering plants, that is gymnosperms and in angiosperms. If you observed in angiosperms, the end products of sexual reproduction are fruits and seeds. Whereas in gymnosperms, the end products of sexual reproduction are always seeds. Why? Because gymnosperms produce seeds that are not contained within an ovary or fruit. So ovary is absent in the gymnosperm. Naked seeds are produced in the gymnosperms. So as a result, the answer is option 1. So end products of sexual reproduction in angiosperms, fruits and seeds. As per our chapter, we are studying sexual reproduction in flowering plants or angiosperms. Based on that, answer is option 1. The same question, the end products of sexual reproduction in gymnosperms, then answer is seeds only. But as per our chapter, the first option is correct. Question number 8. Flowering plants have evolved as outbreeding devices because option 1. Cross pollination provides greater chance of double fertilization. Option 2. Larger number of pollinators are available for transfer of pollen grains. Option 3. Pollen production is very high, resulting in higher seed production. Option 4. Continued self-pollination results in inbreeding depression. Now let's know the definition of outbreeding devices. So outbreeding devices defined as the mechanisms to prevent self-pollination and promote cross-pollination to overcome the problem of inbreeding depression is called outbreeding devices. So based on this definition, the correct answer is option 4. So flowering plants has evolved as outbreeding devices because continued self-pollination results in inbreeding depression. To overcome this inbreeding depression, the outbreeding devices helpful to prevent this self-pollination. So that outbreeding devices are diclini.
heterostyle, hercogamy. So these are the examples for this outbreeding devices. They are helpful to prevent self-pollination to overcome this inbreeding depression. Question number 9. In a fertilized ovule, N, 2N and 3N conditions occur respectively in, I am repeating again, in a fertilized ovule, haploid N, diploid 2N and triploid 3N conditions occur respectively in options 1. Antipodals, egg and endosperm, 2. Egg, nucellus and endosperm, 3. Endosperm, nucellus and egg, 4. Antipodals, synerges and integuments. So let's know the ploidy of different parts in the embryo sac. Integuments diploid in condition, nucellus diploid in condition 2n condition, antipodals haploid in condition, polar nuclei haploid in condition, secondary nucleus diploid in condition, egg cell haploid in condition, synerges haploid in condition, male nuclei haploid in condition, zygote diploid condition, endosperm triploid condition. So these are the various parts in ovule as well as in embryo sac and their ploidies. Now, what is asked here? In a fertilized ovule, 1n haploid, 2n diploid and 3n triploid conditions are. So as per given options, the correct answer is option 2. That is egg cell haploid and diploid condition is nucellus, triploid condition is endosperm. Question number 10. Crassinucellate ovule has. I am repeating again. Crassinucellate ovule has. Option 1. Ill developed nucellus. Option 2. Partially developed nucellus. Option 3. Well developed nucellus. Option 4. No nucellus. Let's know the types of ovules on the basis of nucellus. There are two types. One, tenunucellate. The nucellus is either less developed or present in the form of single layer. That means it is partially developed nucellus, tenunucellates. And second type, crassinucellate. The nucellus is massive, that is, it is made up of many layers and it is well developed. Based on this information, crassinucellate is well developed. Partially developed one is the tenunucellate. As per question, the answer is option 3, well developed nucellus. That is, crassinucellate is well developed. Question number 11. What is the correct sequence of the different wall layers in microsporangium from inner to outer side? Options: 1. Epidermis, middle layers, tapetum and endothelium. 2. Epidermis, endothelium, middle layers and tapetum. 3. Tapetum, middle layers, endothelium and epidermis. 4. Tapetum, endothelium, middle layers and epidermis. Let's see wall layers in the microsporangium. That wall layers from outside to inner side. So outer layer is epidermis. Immediately after epidermis, endothelium, and from endothelium 2 to 3 layers are middle layers and innermost layer is the tapetum. So this is the order from outer side to the inner side. Then from inner side to outer side, tapetum, middle layers, endothelium and epidermis. So based on this information, the correct answer is option 3. Tapetum, middle layers, endothelium and epidermis. Question number 12. Match the following: column 1 and column 2. In column 1, A. Long and slender stalk. B. Bilobed structure. C. Stalk of the ovule. D. Basal bulged part of pistil. Column 2. First one funicle, second one ovary, third one anther, fourth one filament. We need to match these words. Now, long and slender stalk is filament, is a part of anther. It is long and slender stalk and connect to the anther and supplies the nutrients due to presence of vascular tissue. Bilobed structure. So anther is bilobed structure. Stalk of the ovule is called funicle. Basal bulged part of pistil or gynoecium, that is ovary. So based on this matching, the answer is option 2. Question number 13. Polygonum type of embryo sac or typical female gametophyte of angiosperm is. So polygonum type. Polygonum is a name of plant. In that the development of embryo sac is studied. So this polygonum type of embryo sac is monosporic type because it developed from a single megaspore. Hence it is called as monosporic type, and this is first observed in the polygonum plant. Hence it is also called as polygonum type of embryo sac and is 7-celled and 8 nucleated. Consists 7 cells, antipodals 3, egg apparatus 3 cells and 1 central cell, total 7 cells. And antipodals are having 3 nuclei, egg apparatus are having 3 nuclei, central cell having 2 nuclei, total 8 nuclei are present in the polygonum type. So answer is option 2, 7-celled and 8 nucleate. Question number 14. Read the following statements carefully and select the appropriate option given below. So the statements are 1. Statement 1. The distal end of the filament is attached to the thalamus or the petal of the flower. Statement 2. The pollen grains represent the male sporophyte. Option 3. The microsporangia develop further and become embryo sac. Statement 4. In over 60% of naked seeded plant, pollen grains are shed at two cell stage. Option Statement 5. As anthers mature and dehydrate, the microspores dissociate from each other and develop into pollen grains. These are the 5 statements. So now options. Option 1. One statement is correct among 5. Option 2. Two statements are incorrect, means false, among 5. Option 3. Three statements are incorrect among the 5. Option 4. Four statements are incorrect. So now, once again, we will look after these statements. First statement. The distal end of the filament is attached to the thalamus or the petal of the flower. Let's see whether it is correct or not. Proximal end of the filament of stamen is attached to the thalamus. Proximal means anterior is attached to the thalamus or petal. But in this statement is given distal end is attached to the thalamus. Then statement is wrong. Distal end is attached to the anther, not to the thalamus or petal. So first statement is wrong. Now second statement. The pollen grains represent the male sporophyte. Let's see that. Pollen grain is gametophyte and not a sporophyte. This is because of sporophyte consists of diploid number of chromosomes, whereas pollen grain consists haploid number of chromosomes. So that's why second statement is also wrong. It is given as sporophyte, but pollen grain is a gametophyte. Then third statement. The microsporangia develops further and become embryo sac. Here embryo sac is represented the female reproductive part and microsporangia is represent the male. So once see megasporangia develop further and become embryo sac, not microsporangia. So third statement is also wrong. Fourth one. 60% of naked seeded plants are nothing but gymnosperms. Pollen grains are shed at two cell stage. See the exact statement. 60% of seeded plants. Pollen grains are shed at two cell stage. Seeded plants correct, not naked seeded. Naked seeded or gymnosperms and seeded plants are angiosperms. Naked seeded or gymnosperms. So seeded plants, not naked seeded plant. So that's why fourth statement is also wrong. Then fifth statement, as anthers mature and dehydrate, the microspores dissociate from each other and develop into pollen grains. So this statement is correct. So the process of formation of microspores from a pollen mother cell through meiosis is called microsporogenesis. As the anther mature and dehydrate, the microspores dissociate from each other and develop into pollen grains. The fifth statement only correct and first four statements are wrong. So as per this, the correct answer is option 4. Four statements are incorrect. 1 to 4 and fifth statement only correct. Question number 15. In an embryo sac, the cells that degenerate after fertilization are options 1. Synerges and primary endosperm cell. Option 2. Synerges and antipodals. Option 3. Antipodals and primary endosperm cell. Option 4. Egg and antipodals. Let's see the cells present in embryo sac. Antipodal cells, central cell, egg cell, synerges. The central cell. During fertilization, polar nuclei present in central cell fuse to form secondary nucleus. This secondary nucleus fuse with male gamete to form endosperm during fertilization. Egg cell. During fertilization, egg cell fuses with male gamete to form zygote. Then what is question here? In an embryo sac, the cells that degenerate after fertilization. So after fertilization, the secondary nucleus become endosperm and egg cell becomes zygote. So the remaining are antipodals and synergies. These two cells are degenerate. So option 2, synergies and antipodals are the cells degenerate after fertilization. Thank you students. We will meet again in the next part to continue the objectives from level 2.